Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, Darius. Today is the 3rd of July, 2023, guys. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session. Welcome to this first trading day of July, guys. So, I hope you had a fantastic weekend, and we're all now prepared for a new one, which, to be honest, could be quite an interesting one, I would say. So we do have a bunch of economic data that is coming out. So let's see what the market has prepared for us. But before we go any further, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner in there, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, guys. So let's now jump into the chart. So as I said, we have an eventful week this week. Look, first of all, I'll pick up on Nikkei. I'll see what's the technical picture here. Basically, look, I talked about this and I said to you that if we are going to stay below this downside line in the short run, so yes, we could see maybe some more downside, but I'll get more comfortable with the downside if we do drop somewhere below this 32,923 territory. Well, as you can see here, in general, that psychological 33,000 mark did provide fantastic support from where we rebounded and pushed higher. Excuse me. And that's why I said that I needed to see a drop somewhere below this territory first in order to start looking at some lower levels. But I said to you that if we do break this downside line, then yes, this could open the door towards some higher levels. We did see some positivity on Friday. Maybe all this is kind of, having that effect on the market. And I said to you as well that last week, and when I came back on Thursday, I said to you that, look, in general, although I would like to see maybe a bit of a retracement, a larger retracement, but actually at this point, I think that the market could still remain under buying interest. And again, we do have a bunch of data coming out this week. For example, if we take Japan, today we already had the manufacturing PMI numbers that came out. They came out as expected at 49.8, so basically below 50, which means that the number is in the sector is in contraction. Not very good, of course, but still okay-ish. And I think that Nikkei is kind of remaining more reflective of what's happening to the global markets. So what's happening in the US and in China, in Europe, and so far in there, everything seems to be okay-ish. But yeah, looking at the technical picture for now, I would say I am aiming for that 34,000 mark, 34,000 territory. I want to see what's going to happen here. Okay, we might see a push through it. But again, will that be a false breakout, or will it actually, just continue rallying, go for a higher high? So at this point, I would say the easiest option is just to wait and see, to see if we can reach that 34,000 mark, and then we'll take it from there. SX 200, so beautiful break of this downside line. Look, I talked about this with you as well. As last week, I've mentioned this scenario, and I said to you that if we do stay below this downside line, then yes, another decline here could be possible. However, I will get more comfortable with the downside if we do drop below this territory. And as you can see here, this area between the 7,121 and 25 levels is kind of doing that job still. Okay, providing good support, but what I said to you about the upside, I said that if we do push and stay above the 7,200 territory, then yes, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside. Look, of course, we cannot exclude any possible, like, it's not a guaranteed thing here. So, for example, that it broke it and now it's going to stay above it. So, this is the futures that we're talking about. So maybe by the end of the day, you know, this could drift back down. So, yes, the Australian index is closed, but it still could, you know, let's say the futures here could drift back down, and then we will get ourselves a nice false breakout here on the futures, and I would say then maybe we could start examining the downside again. But again, at this point, look, one thing for sure that we need to keep an eye on is, okay, today we got some data from Australia, some building approvals that, I mean, those just exploded, actually. I'm looking at the picture there. I mean, you can see the positivity. The preliminary building approvals came out. The expectation was for plus 2%. The previous one was at minus 6.8, but the forecast was for a plus 2%, which was quite fine. But it came out at plus 20.6. I mean, talk about approvals. Talk about good approvals. But of course, everybody will be watching tomorrow's events, and this is something that you need to bear in mind here with the ASX 200, and that's the RBA interest rate decision, guys. Look, the forecast right now is for an uprise again. An up move by 25 basis points, going from 4.1 plus 4.1 to plus 4.3. Sorry, 4.35. Yes, and again, look, if the number comes out as expected, I think that the market is already adjusted to this, and I think that, you know, we are seeing this up move here because okay, everybody's already considering that, okay, there will be a 25 basis point kind of uprise, you know, like or rise in the cash rate. However, if the number actually comes out a little bit higher and surprises everybody, because we've seen surprises from RBA already, you know, no surprise there that RBA likes to surprise. Because, like I said, the previous one actually was the previous announcement, the previous rate decision was that, and actually the previous two were that they were, you know, they were not expecting any hikes, but then they came out and still hiked. So this time, the market is expecting a hike, a 25 basis point hike. So my question is, will it be in line with the forecast? Will it be in line with the expectation, or actually RBA will say, you know what? Let's give it more. You know, we're not there yet, so let's do more a little bit. So okay, but yeah, look, I mean, we can speculate a lot here. I would say the inflation rate right now for Australia is around 7. So in a way, actually, we could say that they do have room for more rate hikes, and because again, inflation is at 7, target is the around between 2 and 3. So yeah, I would say, you know, some surprises might still be on the table, you know. But anyway, let's wait for the decision and see what's going to happen there. Jumping into China, China 50. Look, we're getting a nice up move here. Like I said, today we got the number, the Caixin Manufacturing PMI number that came out this morning. Look, it's still below the previous one. The previous one was at 50.9. It came out at 50.5. But I think that the market is reacting positively that just because that we didn't fell below 50, and we managed to beat the forecast as well, which is at 50.2. So we just kind of beat it by 3/10, by 3/10. So yeah, we're seeing a nice rebound here. Look, from the technical perspective, I talked about this and I said to you that keeping a close eye on this 12,200 territory. I said to you that if I want to go lower, I will wait for a break below it and then I will do something about it. But at this point, as you can see, we are just rebounding from this territory and pushing back up. Now, we are climbing above this 12,563 territory, which I've mentioned to you last week. And yeah, look, I would say it's quite an interesting moment here. Yes, we could see maybe a further push north. My only little issue right now is I really hope that this is not going to end up something like a head and shoulders pattern, although it's not really a head and shoulders pattern because we don't really have, like, our neckline is actually skewed here a lot. So that's why it's a little bit tricky, I would say, in terms of considering this as a head and shoulders pattern. However, if this is an ugly one, then the neckline, it could be around here, and this is the neckline that we could consider. So, a long story short, I would say if we want to go higher, then as long as we stay above this 12,563 territory, I'll aim for that 50-day EMA or even this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 10th of May. And then we'll take it from there, guys. If we suddenly start falling back down, I will take a bit of a neutral stand because for me, the downside scenario here, it could come on a break of this territory. I hope everybody's doing well. Look, I'll just throw out this good morning to everybody in the chat room there. I hope everyone is like feeling nice and relaxed after the weekend, guys. Here, good morning to everybody. So I hope you all had, like I said, a great time. But yeah, guys, look, whoever's joining in just right now, so just like I said, a quick good morning to you. And let's continue jumping into Nasdaq. Okay, this week, in terms of economic data from the US, could be quite, well, not could be, but will be quite an interesting one. So, first of all, today, Canada is closed due to Canada Day celebrations, and United States will have an early close. Don't forget about that. So check your economic calendars, check your timing for that. Tomorrow, the US is closed. So just to kind of let you know as well, guys, due to their celebrations. Today is a short day. Tomorrow they're closed, and they will resume on Wednesday again, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, in terms of economic data, by the way, we still get some data today. We do get the from the U.S. I'm talking about. We're going to get the ISM manufacturing PMIs because this week will be a PMI week. So we'll get from various countries services, manufacturing, non-manufacturing PMIs. So just kind of check out your economic calendars. So in a way, I'm kind of assuming that volatility could rise back up a little bit. Again, we'll wait and see how it's going to play out. But due to the amount of data, and quite important data, I would say yes. The market participants should remain careful and cautious. And like I said, because we are going to only have 3 full days of trading in the U.S. We might, like I said, see some action, nice good action this week. But just at the same time, as much as volatility can help you, gain more, but at the same time, it could be your enemy. So be careful, be cautious, don't risk too much, have your stop losses in place, and yes, everything will be fine, guys. But yeah, the main one for the US, of course, is on Friday. Wednesday we'll get the ADP non-farm payrolls, and then on Friday we'll get the NFP non-farm payrolls. Also on Thursday we're gonna get not on Wednesday, but on Wednesday from the US. Actually, let me just quickly double check. The FOMC meeting minutes. How could I forget those? Again, be cautious about that because again, like I said, the European evening could be quite volatile because of the US trading day and because of the FOMC meeting minutes. There are going to be meetings about minutes about the meeting that was the previous meeting when they were deciding on the interest rate again, and how they will go further. So yeah, that will be interesting to see. I mean, we might see a bit of jumping around, so just be careful on that. For now, from the technical perspective on Nasdaq 100, I would say, look, we had a nice breakout here, break of this downside line. So okay, that's fine, that's great. We moved higher. But this is exactly what I was talking about. I said that if we're going to break this downside line, then yes, more buyers could join in, and we could see a nice push towards that 15,475 territory right there, which is the current, or sorry, not the current all-time high, but the current highest point of this year. If we do clear that one, then yes, more buyers could join in, and we could start pushing towards the highest points here of November of 2021, or the highest point of December of 2021. So around here. But again, big road to go still. We still have that psychological 16,000 territory, which could be a nice good target. And if we do break this 15,475, but let's not rush into anything yet. For now, we're just, like I said, I'm just aiming for that 15,475 territory, which is the current highest point of this year. The S&P 500, now this one's a little bit more interesting. We are near key resistance areas, so one of which is this, the 4,493. If we do clear it, then yes, more buyers could join in here, and we could then aim for that 4,509 zone, marked by the high of the 21st of April. Now, in order to go further north, I would say, yes, a break of this is needed. At the moment, we're getting a hold up here. So if we want to go further north, then yes, certainly we need to wait for that breakout. Some of you are thinking maybe this is going to be a nice little double top pattern. Well, it could be, but again, we need to wait. We need to wait until that might happen, and then if it is a double top, then we would basically have to wait for a break of the neckline right here, which is roughly around that 4,368 territory. But you have to keep an eye on this upside line first. If that gets broken, then yes, lower levels here could be met, and we could target the 4,433 territory. Initially, I've talked about this one, but I think that it's time to get rid of it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think it's no longer valid. So, although I really liked the number, but hey, the market doesn't always like what I like, so I need to kind of adjust as I go. So if I want to go lower, guys, I will probably wait for a clear break of this upside line drawn from the low the 24th of March. Oh, sorry, May. And then, yes, I'll consider a move to the downside. Dow Jones Industrial Average as well, looking at the nice, beautiful recovery here from this 33,859 territory. And yeah, basically the question, I mean, in general, this has worked out perfectly, because what I talked about was that if we do pop above the 34,232 territory, then yes, I will aim for that 34,587 territory right there. And as you can see here, it worked out perfectly. So now we're testing this 34,587. We cleared it. We're now seeing it as a potential area of support, and if we do continue to trade above it, then yes, my next target is the 34,889 zone, marked by the highest point of June. And if that gets cleared, well, guess what? A forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, and more buyers could join in. For the downside, well, initially I talked about this hurdle here, the 33,859, but I think that maybe, just maybe, we could start kind of examining maybe again this 34,232 territory, because again, previously it acted as a good area of resistance. Now maybe it could take the role of support, but if it gets broken, then yes, more sellers could join in here, because at the same time we would break this steep short-term tentative upside support line drawn from the low of the 1st of June, guys. So just keep your eyes on that one. But for now, we are leaning slowly to the upside. The German index DAX also pushing nicely higher. We climbed above this key resistance barrier. I talked about it. This is between the 16,135 and 163 levels. We stayed above it. So now my next question: can we reach my other targets? My other targets are the 16,412 here, marked by the inside swing low of the 16th of June. If that gets cleared, then I'm aiming for the highest point of June near the 16,571 territory, and then I'll take it from there, guys. If we do break above this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could start aiming for slightly higher levels. But look, I talked about this idea here last week, maybe of seeing a possible rising wedge here, but to be honest, it's not really like one of those, because again, it's not ideal. So just let's put it this way: I'm just examining these as separate trend lines at the moment. And like I said, my upside scenario, if we do clear that 16,571 territory, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and my next target will be this this trend line here, which is capturing the peaks. The FTSE 100. So this one's still not interesting, because again, it's just stuck here. So in a way, it could be forming that potential idea of a descending triangle, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the downside. But again, confirmation break is needed. So at this point, I'm just observing the price action. US dollar index, guys. So look, I talked about this last week as well. I said to you that keep your eyes on this potential idea of a triangle pattern here, which is currently kind of stuck here. We're stuck basically. You can see that on Friday we did push higher. We tested the downside line, or should I say the upper side of the triangle, and then we drifted back down. So it kind of just proves that this is quite an important one to watch. And until we're stuck in there, I'm just observing the price action, guys. I'm not really doing much. If we do break that upper side, great, I'll go higher. If we do break the lower side here, if we break this upside line, then yes, I will go lower. Gold. Gold is quite interesting. Yes, look, on Friday we had this reversal, a sharp reversal back above this 200-day EMA. I talked about this, guys, and I said to you that, look, if we are going to drop and stay below this 1902 territory, so 1902.03, somewhere around here, if we're going to stay below it, then yes, I will go further south. If we climb back above the 200-day EMA, okay, this could increase the chances, for a reversal here, or move back up. But I think that yes, still, if you want to get a little bit more excited with the upside, a break of this short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 3rd of May is needed. So if we break that one, then yes, potentially more buyers could join in. Don't be surprised, for example, if we do just bounce around here, like in the next maybe couple of days, until we get maybe the FOMC meeting minutes. Look, today we get the US ISM manufacturing PMI numbers, right? So that could be, that could provide some movement here for this commodity, but probably between the 200-day EMA and this downside line. Tomorrow, as I said, we're closed, so no activity there. And then going into Wednesday, that's where the excitement could start coming in, and because of the FOMC meeting minutes, and then we're gonna go into Thursday, ADP numbers, initial jobless claims numbers, services PMI numbers, crude oil inventories, and jumping into Friday, yes, NFP numbers. So that's all these. All these are U.S. numbers that are going to be coming out. So then maybe after on Wednesday and onwards, we could see maybe some sort of action here, and the possibility for a clear breakout through either this downside line or this 200-day EMA. But before that, we might stick around here somewhere. Silver. Silver is, silver is also stuck here. I talked about it, and I said to you that as long as we stay below the 200-day EMA, then, I will continue aiming to the downside. Look, we drifted lower. We didn't really test my target, the 22.11 zone, although we came very close to it. But now, what's next? Well, basically, look, I'll stick to my guns, and I will say that as long as we stay below the 200-day EMA, I'm still going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. However, if you're not comfortable with that scenario and you think that, for example, it could push a little bit higher, maybe retest this downside line, well, you're not going to be wrong there as well. But for that one, I would need to see a push above the 200-day EMA, and then I'll consider a move down, a move lower here. Oil, very quickly on that one, again, could be a possible descending triangle pattern, not an ideal one, but nevertheless could be one. Maybe it's around these lines, maybe it's around here. Either way, guys, if you want to go lower, if you are considering this as a potential descending triangle pattern, then still a break through the lower side of it is required. So if we do drop below that 67 territory, then yes, this may attract more buyers. Now, the fact is that I've seen this happening in the opposite direction a lot of times when a descending triangle actually breaks upwards. Because maybe it was not, maybe there was another pattern that was a little bit more, or had a little bit more weight on it, and that's why, you know, we saw the breakout. But at this point, look, at this point, we are coming close to the downside line. The question here for me right now is, will we get a breakout? And if we do get that break of this downside line, then yes, more buyers could join in, and we could then aim for that 72.72 territory or this 100-day EMA. So yeah, if we are still stuck in here between the downside line and this 67 territory, I am just observing the price action. Now, sugar, something that I really wanted to quickly pick up on because I talked about it on Friday. Look, I do look at these exotic commodities. I do love to look at those because, again, those present sometimes good opportunities. And look at this sugar. I talked about this hurdle, this area between the 21.8689 levels, and look at this perfect test and a perfect rebound. And this is what I talked about. I said to you that, look, if we do find good support here, we might push back up. If we do climb back above the 200-day EMA and stay above it, then yes, my next target here could be this 100-day EMA initially, although it would be fun to see a test of the 50-day EMA, but hey, we can't get everything, so we'll just, you know, take what we can get. But at this point, like I said, I'm considering maybe a bit of more retracement here. Also, if I apply my beloved Fibonacci's, you can see that we've tested already the 23.6. If we do climb above it, then yes, my next target is the 38.2, which coincides perfectly with the 100-day EMA here, shown as the green line, which I'm targeting, which I said that I'm targeting. So let's keep an eye on that one. Wheat. Wheat, guys, also quite interesting because, again, we broke the downside line. I said that if we break the downside line, I'll go higher. We made our way to the upside, tested the 724 territory, which also kind of is coinciding with that 200-day EMA. We found good resistance near the 757 territory here. And then we started drifting back down. We fell back below all of the EMAs, and although this could be seen as a negative indication, as I said to you before, when we break the trend lines and we move, let's say in this case, we broke the downside line, quite an important one, and we moved higher, but then we tend to kind of retest those trend lines from the other side. In this case, the downside line might be retested from above. So I would say do not write off the bulls yet, because if this, let's say, if they manage to hold on to this trend line and stay above it, maybe yes, a nice little rebound here could be possible. So basically something in the lines of this. Let's wait and see, of course. Let's keep an eye on it, and then we'll go from there. Now, jumping into the crypto world, guys. Okay, I know that this one is attracting a lot of attention right now, and yes, Bitcoin is still flirting with my target here. I talked about that 31,000 territory. So I said that in order to go higher, I need to see a nice good break through that area. And at the moment, I'm not really getting that. So for now, I'm waiting, and I want to see what's going to happen here. If we're going to get a nice break here through that barrier. If we can get that, great, more buyers could join in. If we cannot, then look, I'm not saying that I'm going to become very bearish here. No, my bearishness would come from drop below the 28,440 zone. So 440 zone. So if we do fall below it, we could also fall below the 50-day EMA, and we could see a larger correction here to the downside towards this upside line drawn from the low of the 30th of December. Ethereum, guys. Ethereum is also quite an interesting one because, again, this one is showing us some sort of movement. So I talked about this last week. I said that if we do push and stay above this 1929 territory, I'll get more excited with the upside. So far, we are staying above it. So at the moment, I would say I'm leaning towards the upside, towards that psychological 2000 mark, and slightly above that, we do have the 2020 level, marked by the high of the, or should I say, the highest point of May, which could be a nice good target. So this area is going to be my next target. So the area between the psychological 2000 mark and the 2020 level. For the downside, well, this is where the interesting bit comes in. Look, I have this 1785 area still, but I think it's time to adjust, and I will mark this low here, the low of the 28th of June, near the 1813 level. If we do drop and stay below it, yes, I'll consider a larger correction to the downside. Why? Because we still have this. Which we need to keep an eye on. Now, Bitcoin Cash. Now, this is something that is, attracting a lot of attention. If you remember, I talked about this when I said to you that a while ago, I talked about this, and I said to you that if we do break this downside line, I will go higher, but my next target will only be the 200-day EMA, which we managed to test perfectly. And yeah, we cleared it. We just continued to rally, and basically, this is just insane, I would say. So I think that there was some positivity that came in. I think that it was triggered by the on its recent inclusion on EDX. Which is the Citadel Securities backed crypto exchange. So that's that might have gave a boost. In general, everything right now is quite getting positive about the crypto. Everybody's getting positive about the cryptos because that a lot of creation, like everybody's trying to create these ETFs and trying to make basically crypto more regulated, and that's why that's why everything's soaring. However, my question is, will it last? Because again, the whole point of the cryptos is not being regulated and kind of in a way going against the system. So that's the question actually. So will this demand like this for certain coins, yes. they will have demand. And I think that it will still remain a good speculative instrument, but how much value will it carry? We'll see. I think time will tell. At this point, we can just try to try to guess, see if we're right or wrong. But in general, like I said, the fact that the cryptos are trying to get a little bit more regulated. Somebody sees that as a saving point for a saving point for the cryptos, but to save them from collapsing. But like I said, it's kind of then you're killing the essence of or basically the whole point is that it's unregulated. So, but again, we'll see how it's going to play out. At this point, yes, what we're seeing here is that we've managed to travel all the way here. We've managed to clear up some key resistance barriers, like for example, this 302.50 zone. Look, we do have this target here still, and we have this target here still. So the 353 territory is my next target, marked by the high of the 14th of April. And then the next target is the 391 zone, which also could be a nice, good target marked by the highest point of March of 2022. But look, at this point, what I'm curious here to see what's going to happen with this formation. Will we see just a pennant or something like that? Will it be, just a pennant before basically like continuing going further north? So we're going to a bullish pennant basically, if we're going to form something like a bullish pennant, because we have our pole, we have our like little consolidation right now here. So can we see that pop again higher? I would say let's wait, because if it's going to start falling somewhere below this territory, below this 268 zone, I will consider maybe a larger correction here to the downside. Litecoin also one of those benefiters, yeah, I talked about this as well. I said to you last week that if we do pop above this barrier, this 93.76, I will aim higher. But look, I only aimed for the psychological 100 level, and then the 103 territory, the territory between the 103.41 and 105.68 levels here, which are marking the highest point of April and February respectively. The crypto created a new high for this year, so the question is, how far can we go further north? But I think that we have a nice area, potential area of resistance somewhere around here, which actually got tested already. So this 115.17 level, as you can see here, that's the high of the 17th of April. Good target, but if that gets cleared, my next target is the highest point of March near the 134.12. And by the way, the highest point of March is not this year, but 2022. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. But yeah, if you managed to capture this one, congratulations. This was a very, very good trade. And I said I was warning you about this downside line for quite a while now. So congratulations, like I said, to those who managed to capture it. AUDJPY. Okay, jumping into a few pairs. Look, last week I talked about this one being a possible falling wedge pattern, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the upside. Yeah, we broke to the upside. Now the question, can we go further north? Now my problem is that we didn't really break it like very, very strongly. Okay, look, in general, I will stick to the upside for now. But if by any chance we start falling below this upper side of the falling wedge pattern, then yes, I will consider here a move to the downside. I will consider a move to the downside. However, I would prefer to wait for a drop somewhere below this territory, below this 95.15 zone, and then yes, we could go lower. In terms of the yeah, well, actually, there's not much to say here. In general, the only thing I also wanted to mention is that, look, if the indices, the stock market continues to rally and we can continue to see some bullishness in there, then yes, we could see AUDJPY pushing nicely to the upside, maybe even going back to this highest point of June near the 97.67 level. Jumping into USDJPY, also pushing back up, or at least trying to. Look, one of my targets here worked out. This 145 territory is, in general, the 145 territory is working out nicely. So, but my question is, will we get another hold up around here? Because again, it's the 145 level. It's in Japan, they need inflation, but I think that this 145 might be a bit of a could start to be a bit of a problem. So maybe some BOJ intervention could happen, but again, let's wait and see. It's always the case with everything, but I think that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to approach it from just purely the technical perspective. If we do pop and stay above the 145.11 territory, my next target is the 145.90 zone right here, which previously acted as a good area of resistance, as you can see here, and also support at some point. But actually, I think we can. Yeah, we can redraw that. I think that 146.55 territory could be a better target if we do push and stay above the 145.11 zone right here. But if it holds, another decline here could be possible. If it breaks the upside line here, then yes, we will examine some downside because some sellers could join in. USDCHF, still in the range. Look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I talked about it last week, and I said to you that we're kind of stuck here in this little range, so I need to see a clearance of this 0.90 territory in order to go higher, and for the downside, a drop below 0.8907 could be a good option too. And then, yes, we could target the lowest point of May near the 0.8820. In terms of, the upside here, as I said, I'm going to aim for the 0.89107 territory. That's my first target if we do push above the psychological 0.90 territory, because at the same time, we would also push above the 50-day EMA. USDCAD. USDCAD is flirting still with that 1.3270 zone. As you can see, we had a few false breakouts already, but we're struggling to stay above it. So if we do push and stay above it, then yes, my next target is the 50-day EMA. And then we'll take it from there. Maybe we'll see something like this forming, or if that gets broken, then maybe we could start aiming for that 200-day EMA right here, and yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But at first, a push above the 1.3270 territory is needed. GBPUSD, okay, the downside line, I have to admit, this downside line is not really working, so we can get rid of it. I think that the best option here for the upside, to monitor the upside, is to wait for a push above this hurdle here, above this 1.2760. If we do clear that, then yes, I will aim higher, and I will target the highest point of June near the 1.2848 zone, and then we'll take it from there. If we do clear that one, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. For the downside, I'm taking a very conservative approach here, and I'm waiting for a break of this upside line. Now, what's interesting here that actually this break of the upside line might come together with a break of this 1.2591 zone marked, which is the lowest point of last week, and also a drop below the 50-day EMA. So all this could just kind of help out the sellers, to get a little bit more comfortable with lower levels. EURJPY, something that I talked about last week. I talked about this little short-term upside line, which is still providing good support. So, yep, in a way, still the buyers are in control. However, as I said to you before, that I would like to see a push above this hurdle, above this territory, somewhere above this 158 zone. If we do get that, I'll get comfortable with more higher levels, because a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. If the upside line, the short-term upside line, gets broken, yes, my next target is the 23.6% retracement here on the Fibonacci. And finally, EURUSD. So still, the downside line is doing a good job, providing good resistance. However, as you can see, my downside scenario is from around here only, from the 1.0845 territory, because I want to see if this is not going to end up being something like a descending triangle pattern here. If that's the case, then yes, I will have to wait for a clear drop below the lower side of that potential formation. Let me just actually highlight this for our future reference. So if we do drop below this territory right here, then yes, I will get comfortable with some lower levels. For the upside, yes, as I said, the break of this downside line is needed, so which is also the upper side of the of that potential idea of a descending triangle pattern. But again, a break is still needed. So we can talk as much as we want, but still a break is needed. So yeah, that's the simple kind of approach on euro dollar. Again, I'm not trying to overcomplicate life here because again, it's already way too complicated. But anyway, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my my Daily Pitch International for my traders. Yes, I hope you're going to have a fantastic trading day today. Remember, today in the US, the day is shorter. The trading day is shorter, and tomorrow US is closed. So, like I said, I'll still run the webinars because other markets are still open. So we'll see how that's going to play out and prepare ourselves for Wednesday. But yeah, have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.